Good morning, colleagues in Colombia and Honduras, and good afternoon, participants from Ethiopia. Welcome to the 12th EthioLatinCoffee Community of Practice webinar. We are delighted to have you all join us today. My name is Alamu Tesfaye. I'm from Organization for Social Science Research in Eastern and Southern Africa, and I'll be your host for this event. So we are thrilled to have participants from the three countries and probably other countries, Honduras, Colombia, and Ethiopia, coming together to discuss and explore issues within the coffee sector. So today's webinar is particularly significant as we focus on empowering women in the coffee industry, highlighting their contributions and addressing unique challenges they face in coffee exports. So the objective of this webinar are threefold. One is to highlight women's empowerment in export strategies. Second one is to deepen knowledge exchange among the three countries, Honduras, Colombia, and Ethiopia. And of course, to strengthen collaborative networks. So we have an exciting agenda lined up for you today with presentations from speakers from Ethiopia, Colombia, and Honduras, who have practical experience in coffee export and marketing. We encourage you to actively participate, share your insights, and engage in meaningful discussions. The webinar will be in two languages, as I've said earlier, in English and Spanish. So we have our interpreter, Celia, with us. Please use the interpreter button to switch languages. Furthermore, if you have questions, you can also put your questions under the Q&A. In the Q&A area. You'll find the Q&A area at the bottom of your screen or in the comment section of the Zoom platform. Thank you once again for joining us. We look forward to a productive and inspiring webinar. So without further ado, I now invite the first speaker, who is Ato Yonas Abarra. He is from the Ethiopian Coffee Tea Authority. He's a marketing and promotion desk head. He will be presenting the overview of the new marketing strategy for women in the coffee sector in Ethiopia. Thank you so much. I will now give the floor to Ato Yonas. Miki, please put on his presentation.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You can continue.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Alamu. My name is Yonas Abarra from Ethiopian Coffee Authority. I am working as market research and promotion desk head. Today's presentation will be on overview of marketing strategy for women in Ethiopia's coffee sector. We will talk how we can help women in the Ethiopian coffee industry with better market strategies. As you know, Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee and has a strong coffee industry that is important to the country's economy. In this coffee sector, women play a key role in this industry, but often face challenges. In this presentation, we will look always to empowering these women and make them more visible and support their those as a business owner or as a marketing actor. When we see our current structure of it and coffee value chain, in this presentation we will look how to empower our women in coffee, make them more visible and support their goals as a marketing actors in our coffee sector. When we see our current structure of the coffee value chain, the chart that showing in the slide 2 shows how coffee moves from coffee farm to the users, particularly the international buyers. We will see the different steps involved from growing coffee, from harvesting the beans to processing, exporting, and finally selling them to the international buyers. And this shows us the value chain helping our women see where women are involved in, where we can make improvements to support them better. When you see the first production part, this process shows the process starts with two types of producers: smallholder farmers and commercial farmers. These are the people who grow the coffee bean, and the second column, there is primary marketing and processing. Once coffee is harvested, the coffee beans go to the cooperatives or private washing stations or housing stations. These stations serve as a primary market center for market access. In this stage, mostly coffee suppliers and farmers trade coffee. The third column shows market channels. After processing in the primary market centers, the coffee moves from various marketing channels, and it can go through the Ethiopian commodity exchange for warehousing and trading. The other is outward scheme, where farmers have agreement with commercial farmers or investors. The third one is vertical integration. This is where suppliers and exporters trade, and it serves as an alternative market to the Ethiopian community exchange. And there is also direct export bypassing some middle steps. The fourth column is export and secondary processing. Under this, there are a lot of market actors. There are farm exporters, commercial exporters, unions, and commercial farmers that are investors. These are all exporters. They export their coffee after further processing it at exportable coffee processing industries. The final category is buying and roasting. The coffee reaches international buyers in this category. These international buyers and roasters who buy and roast the coffee for consumption around the world. When we see the gender sector in Ethiopia, coffee. Next slide, please. In Ethiopian coffee sector, gender equality is not just a matter of fairness. It's crucial for maximizing productivity and growth. This is needed because it boosts productivity. Consumer women are undeserved consumer segment. There is a yield potential. As you know, the coffee increased by 16% according to World Bank statistics. The other one is land holding parity. The land holding side of the household headwomen is around 0.76 hectare nowadays. There is high coffee potential. Female head household produce more than 30% coffee yield than male head households. The other one is labor utilization. Female heads of household are more likely to hire labor to perform pruning, stamping, and fertilizer application. Next slide, please. The objective of this market strategy is, our objective is clear. Is to increase market share for women in tea and coffee sector while simultaneously enhancing value addition and diversification. Let's look at the indicators, the key indicators that will measure the success of our strategy to empower women in the coffee sector. The first is increased volume of export quality coffee by women is one indicator. The second one is higher participation of women coffee producers in international competition is another indicator. The third one is improving proportion of export quality coffee by women is another indicator. Increased volume of certified women coffee into high in the market is also another crucial indicator. The other one is growth in export of women's coffee is another indicator as well. The last one is rising domestic consumption of roasted women's coffee is the other crucial indicator that we identified. When we go to the our identified strategic issues, when we explore let's explore the identified strategic issues that are pivotal to unlocking the full potential of women in the coffee sector. The first one is weak marketing regulation enforcement. We have a lot of market regulations that are in the coffee sector, but women, particular women, they don't have awareness. What I mean, there is low awareness and enforcement of quality control in marketing rules. There is inadequate policies and enforcement for domestic consumption. This is one identified strategy. The next one is next slide, please. A lack of transparency and high costs of high costs affect women in the market, especially on the coffee. Women, especially women exporters, lack trust due to sampling issues that are responsible for the marketing part, especially ECH or other government stakeholders. The other one is ECH and other stakeholders, government stakeholders, imposes extra fees for grading, handling, and storage. The other one is administrative processes increase value chain costs. These are caused by lack of transparency, higher administrative costs of the market process. Next slide, please. The third one is insufficient market centers. When you say market centers, there are primary markets and there are secondary markets, and pro-market service are also inappropriate for women. This is because coffee market centers or primary markets or secondary markets do not meet women market access needs. The other is infrastructure for marketing needs. And infrastructure for marketing needs improvement. When you see the fourth identified strategic issue identified by the market strategy, as we know, there is a limitation of capacity. So we see this as the major identified strategy. There is a weak capacity of women marketing actors and large number of unreliable main exporters. This some women enter the market, specifically for foreign exchange. With this foreign exchange, they import other goods, and there is also absence of coffee cooperatives and unions completely uh, managed by women, or all members of these cooperatives and unions are women. There is absence of these cooperatives and unions. We identify this as capacity weakness. The fifth one is there is a weak and coffee marketing strategy for women inclusion. There is a need for brand strategy specifically for women market actors, and there is no market promotion strategy in the coffee sector currently. So we need a promotion strategy that can benefit specifically women, because most of the coffee is produced more than 30% by women. The sixth one is inadequate.
So he's still trying. If he's not able, then we'll go to the next presentation. And go to the next presentation. That will be by Myra. If he joins, then he'll continue from where he has stopped. Sorry for that. So we go to Myra. Mickey, can you put Myra's presentation? Yes, Myra, can you hear us? Thank you. Welcome, Myra. Continue, please.
Sorry if you hear any noise, because I'm in another event. There's an event going on. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning. Greetings from Honduras. Thank you for the opportunity to present. Here we can see the map of Honduras. Honduras is divided in different regions. And here we can see the coffee producing regions. These regions were divided based in the coffee cupping. It's a very interesting, because out of the 18 departments of Honduras, 15 are coffee producing departments. We are more than 100,000 families producing coffee and depend on the coffee industry. Let's go to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Regarding some figures. Oh, sorry. Go back to the next. Okay. So it's the largest coffee producing in Central America. Honduras is the third largest coffee producing in the Americas. And we are the 7th largest coffee exporter in the world. So coffee is a huge and very needed sector for the country economy, as well as for the farmers. We're saying that the 20% percentage of women, 20% of all the exporters, it's exported by women producers. Here in this data, we only take account women who has the title, legal title of their lands. there's a lot of coffee hectares that are not being included in this data because the women have not the title of their land. They're not the owners. Let's go to the next slide, please. So women participation is really high relatively, but it's not being measured. According to official estimates, poverty affects 65% of rural women. This is a very high percentage, but it's not real because, as I say again, the other women that are not owner have not been included in the data. So this is the main challenge, which is for the women to have the access to land. 2.2 million of women live in rural area, and only 8% of them are our landowners. So this is a big challenge for us as a country, because we need to ease the process so that they can access to their lands and have the title. When a woman is the landowner, they can make decisions about their lands and even about their lives. That means that we can build our life around these lands. We can have more influence in the family, and we can play a bigger role. If we are a landowner, we can make decisions on how to sell what we're growing. Of course, this gives us a lot of empowerment as women, and this is one of the biggest challenge we face. We need to partner among other women. We as mothers, we need to inherit also land. And so this is a very big challenge, because if we don't own land, we cannot decide how to sell the country. The product, the commodity. If we don't have the land title, we cannot access to credit. Credits are very limited because interest rates are really high in our country. So this is another challenge as women coffee producers. Next slide, please. When I lived in the US, when I used to live in the US, now I'm in Honduras. When I was in the States, my dream was to come back to my country and to be able to travel to other countries in order to sell coffee. So I had to find a way to connect my community to this market. When I was living in the US, in that time, 10 years ago, I started to run my business, Catracha Coffee. One of the main challenge was how to make women have a connection with the coffee community, how to make a relationship with my community through coffee. Here you can see coffee from different producers and women producers. And in this picture, you can say Roscoe Coffee, that sell coffee from Rosibel, a Honduran women producer. Also Back Porch from Anna. You can also see 319, another brand of coffee in California. They sell coffee from Gloria, another coffee women producer. We have different companies that are selling our coffee. The idea was to strengthen my business, promoting coffee produced by women, especially women, because when women can have access to market, they can make decisions. This is very important because I know that I can make decisions and I can manage the money for my family. This is very important to manage our economies. Next slide, please. Here, in this case, this is Gloria Ventura. She's a very good example of a woman coffee producer. She sells coffee to a company called 319 from San Francisco, California. Every year we support her in logistics with her husband. They have a daughter that lives in Honduras, and the other children they live in the US. This is a good example of a rural woman empowered. You can see how empowered she is. She is the one making the decisions for her business. And in this case, she can also sell her country in different countries, her coffee in different countries. Next slide, please. This is the branding, Gloria's branding. The idea is to show traceability at all levels. So the buyer can track her coffee. The bags are marked with the brand and with the name of Gloria. So when the roaster receives Gloria's coffee, the roaster will know who's the coffee from Gloria. For a producer, it's a big deal to have their brand in the bags. This is how they feel they are acknowledged. This is very helpful to market our commodity, because they know who's the coffee from, and this helps us to sell coffee and to motivate Gloria to continue producing coffee. Next slide, please. Well, this is a photo of the work that we do with the community on art. We promote not only coffee, but also art and creativity. We engage the community through art. We're trying to engage the community and show them the role of women in our community through art. We show this in events. Now we are holding an event focused on youth and women. And there are 4 young girls from the community participating. The idea is to create opportunities for women, for young people. We need to find these opportunities to enhance the participation of women in this sector. Thank you so much for your attention, and a very warm greeting from Honduras to all of you. I am grateful to be part of the opportunity on this community of practice. I'm learning a lot from Colombia and Ethiopia. Through this project, I could make through a dream, which was to go to Ethiopia. Thank you so much. Here we can see different photos from the community work.
Thank you, Myra, for your insightful presentation on the challenges and opportunities for women in the coffee export from Honduras, and also for your personal insights, which I think provide us with a clear understanding of the unique hurdles and and potential avenues for growth in this sector. I now open the floor for question and answer. If you have any questions, you are welcome. I don't see any questions in the chat. Are there any questions? You can raise your hand also. Okay, I have one question for Myra. In your presentation, you mentioned that only 8% of rural women in Honduras own land. So what initiatives and policies, because in Ethiopia also we have similar problems. I'm sure in Colombia they also have similar problems. In most developing countries, we have similar problems. So from your experience interacting with various women coffee producers, what initiatives or policies do you think are most effective in increasing land ownership? What should be done from your experience, so that we can increase land ownership for women, and if you have any experience on any successful initiatives regarding land ownership from other countries also. If you can answer that question, I hope I'm clear.
Mhm. Okay. I think that the main challenge for us is how to raise awareness in the family, within the families, mothers and fathers. If we have 4 children, they normally will give the land to the male, to the sons, not to the daughters. What I think we need to do is to raise awareness within the families, so that the female daughter can also inherit land. If they inherit land, they don't need to go through abusive practices or challenges of lack of ownership. So far, I have not seen an initiative to support women in this area. This is where we should improve to ease the process of ownership. If we don't do that, it will be always the men who will inherit the land. In my personal case, I inherited land by my grandma. She raised me. So I inherited a small farm of coffee with 900 trees. I also got some land where I grew corn. And I also inherited a house, which is my house now. For me, personally, I can see how I managed to have this decisional power, because I am the owner of my land. In case I will divorce my husband, I will not have the issue. I hope that will not happen, but I will not have any issue because I own my land. This was my case. I have experienced that. I know the advantage, so I am promoting so that daughters and female workers, women can inherit lands. Life really changes. So in case we divorce our husband, we will not have any issue. For me, this issue is very important, so that we have this decisional power to access financing, to negotiate within our family. It's really very important to access land and to have the document.
Thank you, Myra. Any questions for Myra? I have another one, but I will give the floor for others. Any question? Okay. Second question, Myra, please. You can respond to this one. In your presentation, you have said that there is high level of rural poverty affecting women in Honduras, which is a similar case in Ethiopia also and other developing countries. So from your point of view and your experience working with communities, coffee communities and other communities, which I have the opportunity to see, what specific support systems or programs do you think have shown the most promise in helping women coffee producers to improve their economic standing and overall quality of life? From your experience, in Catracha Coffee, and also from your other experiences. Thank you.
Thank you. According to my experience, what it was more successful for me was my network, my friends, my female friends. They help me promote the community work that I do. This is in a long term very beneficial for selling coffee for me by creating solidarity among women and communities. This is very beneficial for me because we're not only promoting or promoting coffee, but also the life of the community and the country's life. This has been very successful. It's very important to participate in different events. When I have the opportunity, I go to the special coffee fairs. And what I do is that I connect with the exporters that buy our coffee. I make networking with them. I create relationships with them so that they don't forget about my coffee. With time, in a long term, you find your place as a coffee producer. This is very important for a woman that represents a community of women producers. This is also very important to have your place within the social network, reminding the exporters and the buyers that we have a very good product to sell. Also, being in events like today here in my farm with women and young people, we are 400 people participating. It was yesterday and also today. These kind of events are very important. It is expensive to organize, but it's a good investment. I talked to a friend working for an NGO, and I told them that I needed tickets for some of the participants to come to this event. So I got tickets paid for these participants and I'm paying for the hotel. This type of experiences is very important. There are people that have the money and they don't know how to invest it. We can find these people that tell them to invest in this kind of projects. Maybe they don't need to finance the whole project, but a part of it. And this is a way to bring young people from the community to different places and participate in these events. This is very important to open spaces and collaborate among ourselves, among our women partnerships. We can collaborate with ideas, different projects, promoting and promoting different people. And this way we earn more because we're helping our community, not only in my town, but also with other towns.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Myra, for your response. If there are no other questions, then we can move to the next presenter. I don't think Jonas will be able to join us. He has said that he is not able to connect. He has network issues, so sorry for that. So we go to the next experience, country experience from Colombia by Fabiola Tombe. She will talk about navigating the challenges and opportunities for women in coffee export from Colombia. So welcome, Fabiola. She's from the AMUC, the Women in Coffee, Colombia.
Sí,
Good morning to all of you from Colombia. This is Fabiola Tombe Velasco. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please continue.
Okay. So this is Fabiola Tombe. I am the legal representative of the MOOC Association. We are 490 women in this organization. Colombia, it's a coffee producer country. There are 90,000 families. And out of these 90,000 families producing coffee in El Cauca, we are only 30,000 women producing. I will start talking about AMUC history. What were the challenges? What are the weaknesses and the strengths up to date? This organization was created 22 years ago, thinking of the needs of a group of women that were dreaming of this sector. Colombia is a country with many issues and issues in security and other type. So need made women to organize. This make us think of organizing ourselves and to improve processes to benefit our women. This was the main motivation to create the association. Little by little, with time, we have managed to empower our women. We have empowered them on farm managing, fertilizers. Our organization produce high quality certified coffee. All the coffee that the organization produces is fair trade certificate, and 60% of it is fair trade. The rest is the organic coffee certified. All this coffee, it's been sold up to date. It's been sold, but it's been really difficult. It's not easy. It's not easy to change the mindset of husbands because our country is very chauvinist still, trying to have fathers and husbands to give some land, a piece of land or a hectare to their wives. It was really complicated at that moment. But thanks to the effort and the determination of women, we have managed. We have managed little by little. So today, thanks to the support that we have from our partners, like the Cauca Union, Supra Café, Technic Café, the Technological Park. And thanks to the agreements that we have signed, we have managed to have our project for women. Today, we are 400 women. And the main challenge was helping growing our community. Before we were 157. Today, thanks to AECID, the Spanish Cooperation, we are 490 women. Some of these women are in the process to get certified for organic coffee and others for trade, this organization has a big team of collaborators that are doing the work in the land. These collaborators, partners, visit these ladies. For example, there are experts on social issues, technical issues, and they help these ladies to understand how to work. Here in Colombia, there are many organizations, many, but the only one of women coffee producers is our organization. There are many mixed organizations, men and women, but the only one, only women, is our organization. This doesn't mean that our husbands are not important for our organization. They are indeed very important, because the trainings that we hold, they're also focused for the whole family, husbands, sons, daughters. And at the end of the process, we can see that they help our women to have a high quality coffee. Today, we produce high quality coffee in 10 municipalities in the Cauca department or Cauca region. It was not easy, as I said before. There have been many experiences, bitter experiences in this process. At the beginning, we were trading coffee through a union coffee in Cauca. Many years we have sold our coffee to this union coffee, to a private exporter.
Sorry, Celia. On which slide is Fabiola? We are a little bit confused here. Can you ask her?
Next slide, please. Yeah, she was not looking at the, okay.
Okay, good. Is this a one?
Okay. Now I'm gonna say next slide so that we can know where to, yeah.
Excellent.
So here
Thank
we
you.
can see the women group. In the north, we are 159 women. There's another group in the northwest that consists of 142. In the center, 51 women. And then in the west, 114. And in the south, 21 women. So the total number is 487. Next slide. Okay, I'd like to give you some background, social background of our organization. I have said it before, but I'm gonna summarize it now. Cauca was a department that was very affected by the guerrilla conflicts. There were many contexts of insecurity that makes it a region, a very insecure region. In our group of women, we have women that are head of families, displaced person. We have women that have to abandon their home due to this conflict, and this is where we are hosting that to be part of this organization. Most of our women coffee producers, we are smallholders. The one that have the biggest land is 1 hectare. So we manage that that the husband of these women give or cede some of the land it was very complicated, the owner issue. Next slide. The ownership issue. Next. As women, from the beginning of this organization, we have historical allies or partners that are very important for our organization. Coffee Cauca is the coffee union of coffee growers from Cauca. Through Coffee Cauca, we trade coffee today. Also, Supara Cafe is one of the biggest clients of the organization. With Supra Cafe, we trade coffee and we get the support to get new projects for this organization in order to create different projects for our women. Next slide. There's also Tecnicafe Industrial Park and Technological Park that was created 6 years ago to provide support for the women producers and the farmers in general. In Tecnicafe is where we prepare our young people and women. We train them on the most important issues so that they can take care of their farms. We teach them how to cap, how to process. We teach them on the fertilizers and how to manage their lands. It's in Tecnicafe where they get these trainings. Next slide. Here you can see a group of women. And this is how we show them. We want to promote these women. We visit their lands. We're learning from them, but we're also teaching them. We're teaching this group of women. We also have different partners because we also sell coffee to the US. One of the challenge that we see today is that the European regulation, this is one of the main challenges that we're having now, is really affecting us. This European regulation should be implemented from 2025. So we're looking for different strategies in order to see if our organization can comply with this regulation from Europe. In the last one of the previous webinars we talk about this European regulation. We suggest that we had this webinar because we didn't know anything about it. Right now, we're reading more about it, and we have participated to improve this issue because it's a challenge for the organization. Regarding trading, coffee trading, we as an organization, we maybe cannot sell all the coffee from our women due to these organization regulations. Starting from April, AMUC started to buy coffee from our own women and to sell it. It is not easy. Our dream is to reduce the number of middlemen in the coffee sector so that we can have more benefits. We hope that in a medium short term, will be able to be trained on all the issue of exportation, because right now it's a bit complicated. Not many people or women export here. Normally this exportation, it's only for big exporters, and small associations of our association for us is really difficult. We need to prepare for this. We need to study this issue to see if we can manage. I am sure that we can do this because we have already achieved many things. I am sure and I am positive that we will make it. Next slide. So this is the next slide. Next slide. Sorry. Next slide. In the year 2002, this is when we exported for the first time, thanks to Expo Cafe and Super Cafe. In 2013, we created our organic program, even though we didn't have the certification, but we started the process. During all this time, we have been working on this. We have managed that these coffee producers gave us the certification. In 2018, we developed a project with the Spanish Corporation in Colombia to empower women producers in order to build peace in Cauca. This was the beginning of this project. It was the beginning of the first phase. It was made by Tecnicafe. After this, we have a second phase that we are developing it right now directly in El Cauca. Next slide. Next. So Super Cafe is another partner. What do they do for us? It's our buyer, but also it's a support. They have been supporting us, supporting the development of our women, not only buying coffee. They are creating a shared value for our coffee value chain. Next. Next. So another challenge that we need to overcome is that we are trying to stabilize our coffee production. We started a process of technical support and consultant for our women in order to be more productive, because this is our business. If we sell more coffee, if we have more coffee, we can sell more coffee and have more benefits. So our effort, it's on that. All our women get visits from experts that help them stabilize the production. And I mean by this, to be able to know the amount of production that we can have this year or maybe next year, to foresee the production. We're working also in the diversification of incomes. We cannot only live out of coffee. We need to find different alternatives. Due to the climate change and all these issues that we're seeing on the coffee sector, our coffee production, it will be diminished, it will be reduced. Climate change is something that is really affecting us and the whole world. Today, we're trying to get more coffee producers to produce organic coffee, because the organic coffee, it's more pricey and can give more income to our women. Next. Regarding our coffee production, we have managed that our women producers strengthen their supply chain, the supply chain with our producers. We're selling high quality coffee. We are very good at taking care of the farms. We comply with all the regulations and we support environment. We're not only producing coffee, as Mayra was saying, we also support our women with family gardens to produce their own food, so that they can have eggs, corn, and different goods to support themselves. This is how can we help our families and our economy. Our husbands and sons and fathers are very important in this process. If we didn't get their support, it would have been even harder. I could say that 90% of our women in Amuk, they are empowered. They own their lands. I am my landowner. 60% of our women can also manage their lands. We can make our own decisions. We are the owners. This doesn't mean that our husbands are not important. Family is really important for us. Family help us. They help us with the farm. They help us develop ideas in order to improve daily. Next. These are all the stakeholders that supports us and that form EthioLatinCoffee. They support us to train our women. Our women, 50% of them, they are overage. They are not underage, excuse me, anymore. So they can already be trained and learn this business. It is important to empower our young people. For many young people, they don't feel attracted to farming. They want to go to the big cities. We need to make this business more attractive so that they can feel empowered and contribute. They need to know that farms are very important and they can generate income if we do a good job. This is one of the big challenges that we also face. Also, another challenge is to be able to export. Here we are starting with that. We need to learn a lot about this because there are not many people doing this exporting business here. Thank you to all of you. I am available and willing to respond any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Fabiola, for your enlightening presentation on the challenges and opportunities for women in the coffee export from Colombia. You have touched on the socio-economic context and various initiatives, including your partnership with various actors, including the private sector in the coffee industry. Thank you so much for that. If there are any questions, the floor is open. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. Any questions? Please raise your hand. Okay, I have a couple of questions. Fabiola, if you may respond to these ones. As you know, and as you have stated in your presentation, technical assistance and certifications in the coffee industry is important in improving productivity and quality. So could you provide more details on the types of technical assistance that Amucafe or Tecnicafe or Supracafe provides to women coffee producers, and probably how the certifications.
Claro que sí.
You can answer including this one. So how the certifications have affected the market access, either to Europe or to the US or other countries, in improving the income levels of women coffee producers. I hope my question is clear.
Regarding the technical support, our young technicians, they get trained in Tecnicafe. Regarding all the topics related to the lands, to the firms, growing with all the issues, they get trained in Tecnicafe, and then they visit our women. We also check what the women have, what they're lacking. We make a following up every 3 months. For example, I get a visit from the technical, and then they ask me, what are you lacking? Or maybe you're lacking this process, or then they ask me what is my objective, what I am committed to do, maybe to improve the issue of the environment. And then 3 months later, we get to see the technical again to see if we have improved that issue. And this is how the women are accompanied and mentored. We paid for this technical support. Today, since we have a project with the Spanish Cooperation, we have a budget for this technical support to accompany our women. Regarding the certifications, certifications are good, and they made us achieve things that we thought we couldn't do. So today, certifications are telling us what we need to comply. We were part of the Cauca Union before. Some of our women were partners with this union and also with AMUC. So maybe these certifications tell us that we cannot be partners of both organizations. We need to choose between the union, the main union, or AMUC. And this is a challenge. 90 of our women are also partners of this union, and they need to make a decision because of this certification. So sometimes it's very complicated. And as I was saying before, in order to export coffee, the European regulation is too demanding. And we are looking at all these strategies that we can implement to comply with this. One of them is the glyphosate. It's one of the fertilizer that use the coffee producers. The percentage of this fertilizer that we can use, it's minimal now, according to this regulation. We are having difficulties because this fertilizer, it's widely used. Not only maybe I can stop using it, but maybe if my neighbor use this fertilizer will contaminate my coffee trees. This fertilizer can be in water, can be in different areas. It can be it can contaminate the transportation where we transport coffee. So there are many things to take into account that we need to consider. And what we don't want is to break this organization, to divide it due to this European regulation. This is where we're seeing more difficulties. We have different clients from Europe, and one of the most important client, it's in Europe, Supra Cafe. The regulation of the US is more flexible, but the European regulation is quite strict. So this will be very difficult, especially regarding environment, because our coffee productions have changed lately. It has been reduced. This will make our organization to have less resources.
Thank you, Fabiola, for the explanation. Thank you so much for the presentation also. Next, we have our last speaker, Sarah Yurga. She'll be talking about the country experience from Ethiopia. Over to you, Sarah. Mickey, can you put her slide?
Okay. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good.
Great.
Okay. Thank you for having me. And on behalf of the Ethiopian Women in Coffee, I would like to thank Alemu, especially, for keeping us busy in conversation that's extremely relevant to the industry, whether it is in Ethiopia or our Ethio-Latin community. So thank you, Alemu, and the Ozeria team for facilitating this. Thank you, presenters, like even Jonas, even if he's not here, Myra and Fabiola. Thank you for a wonderful presentation, and Celia for an amazing translation. Okay, most of the things are already expressed by one or another presenter, but I will focus on what my colleague from Coffee and Tea Authority presented, which already identified the challenges and targeted strategies for those challenges. So I will just run over what Ethiopian Women in Coffee has been doing since its establishment as an association and where we can leverage from the best practices from our Ethiolatin community. Ethiopian Women in Coffee is known for its strong commitment to capacity building across the value chain and working with women in coffee across the value chain. There is no specific membership profile that doesn't represent women from farm to cup. So our membership is all inclusive. We have producers, we have coffee sorters at farm level, we have suppliers or what we call collectors, we have processing site owners and exporters, of course. We do have commercial farm owners, roasters like me, educators, trainers, Q graders. So it is like we are a membership that is really diverse, with diverse capacities and memberships. So to emphasize on the capacity building efforts we've been implementing, next slide please, was that been investing on its members' capacities, mainly those that are exporters in Addis and around, and some commercial coffee producers. Next slide, sorry. So one of the major achievements we had was enabling our members understand the quality of their coffee and be able to become competitive and communicate their coffee profiles to buyers. And that was our first training with Specialty Coffee Association with the support of other development partners. And our members are now maybe the ones Jonas mentioned in terms of specialty coffee export, in terms of quality and trustworthiness also, are those women that were trained in specialty coffee processing and export, production, process, and export. That's one of the highlights of our existence. As I already mentioned, women in export market as export market actors can be classified as producer exporters, that are smallholder producer exporters and focusing on the export only for now, and commercial farm producer exporters that directly export to or supply exporters or directly export. There are supplier exporters that collect coffee from smallholder producers and from outgrowers, and then at farm gate prices, and process and export. The processor exporters are women that own washing stations, drying beds, collect coffee from suppliers or outgrowers and export. There are women that roast coffee like I do and export. And even skills can be coffee skills can be exported. So we have trainers that were given the opportunity to attend highly specialized coffee quality assessment and coffee processing trainings, and now they're on their way to becoming international trainers. That's a skill exporting. Next slide, please. I'm not going to focus on challenges, but some of the major, I can call them high-level challenges start from communication skills, because unless we can communicate about our product, then we cannot really bargain or negotiate our price. So we will always remain price takers. Another big challenge, especially with smallholder producers, is infrastructure, roads, access to even the local farm gate where they can supply their coffees, safety. Even those with exporting licenses, they don't have access to directly deliver their coffees to a transportation like airports, like we do from here. And safety is the major challenge. Access to technology, again, is having access to internet, using computers, emailing buyers, putting yourself out there on social media, promoting. Those are things we cannot even dream about for our producers in the rural area and the smallholder farmers. Access to finance is one of the major, again, challenges, because it can be a small producer or a big exporter in Addis. They need to have access to finance. Coffee business is totally dependent on securing funds and having access to high quality coffee if you're not a producer mainly. And if you're a producer, having the labor required to harvest, then process and store, the transportation, logistics, the things that Jonas was mentioning, the cost of doing business in coffee becomes unbearable for women producers and women in the coffee value chain to reach the export market. So access to credit is limited. That's also one finding from our study on the coffee value chain and the role of women with the support of EU Desira project with the Spanish cooperation. Next slide, please. In terms of recommendations, I would like to emphasize on mainly why I am going to recommend this and what really is happening in terms of capacity between now the women exporters that are in our membership and are not also in our membership, that have access to finance, that have access to communication, internet, email, and that have access to also international networking opportunities. Those are very few, and we cannot consider those as the majority. The majority is, forget the export, the majority doesn't have access to the local market. So the few actors we see in the coffee sector that Jonas was mentioning are those with resources, education, finance, and so. And for us to close the gap, my first recommendation is maybe to be able to create a platform that would bring dialogue in terms of policies, like we did with our assessment and like we did with another partners' policy recommendations, which is what are the regulations that are hindering women not to enter the export market. It starts from the top, but at farm level, can we take all the skills and trainings to the women? Do we have the resources to do that? That's also the question of resources. But we have noticed that when we take trainings related to coffee, it could be processing, it could be harvesting, it could be good agricultural practices. The women, if it is happening in their premises, in their surrounding, like in areas that are in close surrounding, they are willing to come and join the training. And we have seen them come not 1 day, 2 days, but for 3 days. And we have trained 73 women in post-harvest practices, good agricultural practices, and cupping for 3 days. As long as we facilitate transportation, because they cannot walk after it is dark, as long as we facilitate the training in a place that is at least a few kilometers away from them, they're willing to invest the time and attend. So can we do that? What other possible solutions can we devise in this regard? I think this is one good model that we can take as a recommendation. The other major challenge we have is, you have seen Women in Coffee Ethiopia is branded, but we cannot brand our products with this Women in Coffee logo and the brand. That needs a lot of work, a lot of investment, and a lot of like paperwork and approvals from offices here and there. Because Jonas mentioned the absence of branding for Women in Coffee. That is one area we are exploring, and we want to brand our, especially women produce coffees with this brand and make it a globally recognized brand for its quality, for its commitment to delivery, on-time delivery, for commitment to meeting our buyers' expectations. Regardless, all that could happen only if we can support the women that are already producing. I don't believe bringing more women to coffee production is going to help, or more women to the export market is going to help. Focus on building their capacities so that they can come to the export market ready and, ready to go. That's one area I wanted to focus on. Market information is another access that is not accessible for women, especially in the rural areas. So I was thinking about satellite offices, mainly government offices like Coffee and Tea Authority, that could cater to women producer exporters, smallholder farmers, cooperative members, that could give them information about market, that could provide services like internet, someone assigned to help them write emails, communicate with buyers, do the market research and intelligence on behalf of those producing communities. That's also one area we can explore. In addition to that, I think one experience we had from last year is the International Women in Coffee Alliance, which was made possible by with the investment from our partners like the Spanish Cooperation, the EU Desira project, and many other partners, the Coffee and Tea Authority, government stakeholders. That is one thing. I think that should be the future of how we bring the market to us, because we cannot, as producer country and a developing country, we cannot afford to spend foreign currency to travel and then not even know whether we're going to sell or not. If take our samples, meet buyers, convince them to buy our products, that is a lot of work, and we have to travel all year. Like there are events around the world. Those who can afford can do it, but when we think about the majority, again, events like that are key because we bring the market to our region, like Africa, or to our country, or Latin America, Central America, or to Colombia. Events like that are going to be more relevant and critical and creating market access, because if we design and implement an event that is going to cater to our buyers, there is no way they're going to say no. They will be happy to come and meet producers and have direct access to the coffee they want to buy. I'm not going to repeat, but leveraging on best practices from EthioLatin community of practices, one thing we should be really focusing on, and encouraging policymakers to work on policies and regulations that are supportive of women coffee exporters. When I took, it's because about export market, but the local market again versus the export market is one other discouraging factor, because the local market is vibrant and people can make more money selling coffee locally than export it. So where is the balance? Where are we going to invest in terms of, education, capacity building, market intelligence? All those I've been mentioning. How about the local market dynamics? How is it working towards encouraging female producers, exporters, processors, roasters? As a roaster, I see that I am better roasting and selling my coffee in the local market, also exclusive and small volume, I know I make more money than the price I export it to, because I'm competing with high-tech, well-established, and huge volume capacity rosters. So that's also something to consider when we talk about the export market, whether for green coffee and value-added coffee. Next slide, please. That's it from my side. I really thank you for this opportunity, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for very insightful presentation on the challenges and opportunities for women in coffee export from Ethiopia. You have given us a detailed overview of the current landscape and the initiatives by women in coffee Ethiopia. That has provided, I think, valuable perspectives for us. Thank you for that. Any questions from participants? You are welcome. Okay, then I have a couple of questions for Sarah also. So, Sarah, in your presentation, you highlighted several challenges, such as communication skills, infrastructure, access to technology, and others. But focusing on communication skills and technology, from your experience of many years of working in the coffee industry, what innovative approaches or solutions you think should be considered or implemented to address such kinds of challenges that women coffee producers face in terms of penetration to technology, as well as improving their communication skills? And by whom should this be done, implemented? And what are the challenges in considering, at least in scaling coffee producers in terms of their communication skill, as well as in the utilization of technology?
Thank you, Alamu. Communication skills, we all know English is not our mother tongue, so everyone is challenged. But the rest of the world communicates in English, and we're selling our coffee to markets that our language is not their language. So in terms of communication skills, let me give you a good example also from Women in Coffee Ethiopia. We have a resource center. The main activity of the resource center is sharing market information, facilitating networking opportunities, providing cupping service to our members and even to cooperatives and to producers if they want to, and communicating on behalf of our members as well. But can we do this at a larger scale? How can we do it? Like our capacities, we only have 2 staff members, 1 admin and 1 project Bamlak. So for this to happen, I think the only way to do it is, as I said, have a satellite office. It shouldn't be very big, but with internet access and regular flow of information, market information, harvest information, weather information, all sorts of information that are related to coffee. That there is a radio program that does that. How many of our producers are listening to radio? Or let's say if they want to communicate, okay, I have this kind of coffee, 10 bags, naturally processed. The quality is amazing. I want to sell this coffee. Who are they going to talk to? I can tell you the Ethiopian Coffee Authority issued maybe thousands of export license to smallholder farmers the past few years, and in vertical integration system. But how many of those licensed producers are exporting coffee? We should see, where the gap is. The gap is, okay, I have a license, but who am I exporting it to? How am I going to export it? As my vote really good enough to be like in a container? Or am I going to do airport cargo? Like how, I mean, air cargo, how am I going to do that? All that needs communication across the value chain, communication with buyers. I know there are buyers that need small lots of coffee, and currently there are, I can call them brokers that collect those coffees from one lot and ship them with air cargo. They're making like unbelievable amount of money from that, because that lot is traceable. That lot has a story of that family. So we know the Western world loves stories and want to, track their coffee back to the lot. And at least it has these two qualities. So there are people taking advantage of this opportunity in the name of vertical integration. Are the producers benefiting from it? But they have the less in their anything with it. Is it something they can put up on their wall with a frame? No. So issuing a license before building their capacity to do, let's say I know some producers, not all of them, but some producers have educated children or relatives that can support them. How can we link that to how we want to do or enable the producers in terms of, communicating directly to a buyer, which gives them actually direct access to a market and at the same time premium price to their coffees. So who is benefiting here? This is so to be able to break that chain between producer, then the one in the middle, and then the importer. There is no guarantee that the producer will be able to do it by themselves.
Yep.
And the only way to do it will take time, is maybe assigning, and Coffee and the authority can be the major stakeholder in this, assigning professionals that can support producers become direct exporters by way giving them support in emails, and also creating social media profiles, putting them out there so that buyers can see that this producer is, online, but with authentic, truthful information. But how long is that going to continue? How long is Coffee and Authority going to support again in such a way? So it's complicated, but I see that happening if even development partners also commit to it. It will be so rewarding to start from one producer family and see how it can scale up. I think that will be the way to go about it. That's it. The second question was scaling. Yeah, that's it. I think I answered your questions.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah. So we had the very wonderful presentations from all of you. Thanks so much for that. So now we'll hand over to Dr. Tupena to close the webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, all of you, especially the presenters. Thank you, Alemu, for organizing this very insightful webinar. We have learned a lot, and as we can see, we have a lot of similarities in the challenges that are being faced in terms of marketing, but we also have a lot of cross-learning that we can do from each other. So I am very grateful for the presentations. We have shared knowledge, shared and exchanged knowledge. And I know as we continue, we are going to keep on improving with this kind of work. So I do not have so much to say. I just wanted to thank all the members for being here, for the presenters for preparing and giving us insights into your various countries, which is actually the essence of EthioLatinCoffee, to exchange knowledge and learn from one another. And then the good thing is all of you are working in these sectors and you're practically working on your farmers, coffee farmers, or traders, or you are part of the value chain in one way or another. Thank you very much. There being no other business, I think we will end here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Until next time. We'll share the recording of the webinar. Thank you.
A ustedes muchas gracias. Alemu, Mayra, Celia, muchas gracias. Sara.
Saludos y muchísimas gracias.